So in this Borderlands 4 video, I got you all a complete walkthrough and guide over one of the new vaults that we're going to be getting in Borderlands 4, and that is the Primordial Vault, Fade Fields. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. Feel free to comment your thoughts too about this. I would love to know your guys' thoughts about this vault. I genuinely enjoyed it, but you know, not everyone has the same preference, obviously. Kickstarting off here, I am level 20 playing through this. I got hands-on time of getting to play this when I traveled out to 2K. So big thanks to 2K for giving me time to actually go through this vault and farm the new vaults. I'll be getting into that later in this video. I got a little over an hour of hands-on time with this vault. So not an insane amount of time, but hey, something's better than nothing. So yeah, you're going to start off within this vault having to take out some waves of enemies. These enemies can be pretty tough, obviously depending on your level and build, but I got through them pretty quickly. I will say this is the easiest part of the vault raid though. It is the first part we go up against, but yeah, this is how it went. Keep in mind I am using Rafa with the Peacebreaker cannons.
We've got company! Order soldiers spotted!
I did get taken out once, just me being a scrub.
Interesting. I have estimated you well.
So that's what happens after you take out all the enemies. The watching G, who is like overviewing you taking on this vault raid, says that she estimated you well. There's plenty of loot around as well for you to stock up, and not to mention there's, you know, an ammo vending machine not too far away too to restock as well. So anyways, here's what happens when we progress to the next part of the raid now.
Call me guardian. Call me watcher. Call me the cold air on your neck. I am many things beyond what I was created for. Not like the progeny waiting for you here.
I gotta say, I love the setup of this. It genuinely reminds me of playing through Destiny raids a little bit.
Well, looks like we got us a city slicker.
And also the new legendaries as well remind me of Destiny. I am a huge fan of Destiny, so that's the reason why I'm kind of comparing them. I know they are different in their ways too, but yeah, the legendaries actually feel like exotics now. I'll be getting into those in another video though. Don't want to get too off topic here. Anyways, once we get to this next part, we're going to have to take out even more enemies. And these enemies get a little tougher with different kinds of abilities they'll be attacking you with. There's definitely a lot of shielded, tanky enemies during this part. We'll go ahead and let this part play out.
Just some bleed right, you know? Someone brought some shine to this stuff.
Your eyes are shut. I will make you pass order.
I'm sorry. Machine gun! Gun machine! Whatever, there's a Ramo soldier thing!
Oh yeah? What the hell you like it?
These Argentines just don't bleed right, you know?
No.
These robots run takes no stop! ¡Tanto objetivo está poco tiempo! No, you type! These Argentines just don't bleed right, you know?
Very good. But you're not done yet.
So that's what Watching G says after you take on the enemies here. Some of them are just a bit tougher than the first enemies that we went against. I know, and ironically, I died at the first part and didn't die at this part. Anyways, also, like usual, the lift will spawn in to take us to the next part once we complete the part here. So let's go ahead and progress to the next part. This is when things start to heat up way more than usual. You'll see.
Guardian. A mistranslation. A noun implying a verb, implying no other verbs. One may watch without merely watching.
Heading over here!
Got you in my sight. Dying! Gotta admit, that was not part of the plan.
Darkness is the dark. The forest protected.
These Undertines just don't bleed right, you know?
So there will be plenty of enemies to take on during this part, and also a mini boss you'll have to fight as well. It was one level higher than me. It was at level 21. I'm not exactly sure if that's the case every time. If you come in here at a higher level, it's going to be one level higher than you. Don't know, but it is invincible to certain attacks. You got to pay attention to how you attack it. You have to attack this guy's criticals. He'll have like crystals growing out of his body, which, by the way, this guy's name is like Perturbalan? Perturbalan? I don't even know why I try to pronounce that. But yeah, you have to attack this guy. I'm just going to call him this guy's criticals. That's the only way to dish out damage to him. Eventually you'll get down his shield, which these crystals are like giving him this invincibility. Keep in mind, his shield will recharge this, so you gotta stay on top of attacking his crystals that form out of his body. So if you just try attacking him regularly, it's not going to do nothing to him. You could waste all of your ammo on him. You gotta pay attention to how you're attacking him. I was pretty confused at first on how to dish out damage to him. I was like wasting all my ammo, like, okay, what's going on? Why is only my explosives hurting him? Which, by the way, explosives do good on him because, as you know, explosives have radius damage, so it attacks a little bit of everywhere around. So yeah, that was doing good. But if you just focus on its crystals that grow out of this guy's body, that will eventually get his shield down where he can actually deal damage. So yeah, that's tips over how to take this guy out. And here's how the fight went, by the way.
Nice running!
There is still one more test before the vault is defeated.
Gotta say, he's not so difficult once you know what to do. Anyways, that's that part of the test completed. Now there's one more to take on, and that is, of course, the boss fight of this raid. So let's go ahead and get into this.
What use is a guardian? Nothing much if it doesn't follow orders. This one tried so very hard. Cast away, nonetheless. It is always the creator that pays for the mistakes of the creator. This one is witness to your beginning. Now, to watch you at your end.
Now, some tips to take on the boss fight: Primordial, Guardian, and Septus. Which, by the way, this boss was, as you can see, 2 levels higher than what I was. So that could be the same case if you come here at a higher level. It's automatically going to be 2 levels higher than you. I'm not exactly sure on that though, because I only got to test this raid out at level 20. But either way, once you get down to mechanics of how this boss works, it's pretty straightforward. It's not too difficult to take on. At first it kind of was, I'm going to be real, but once I got down to mechanics and how it all works, I was able to farm this guy pretty efficiently. But yeah, electricity is your best friend when taking on this boss to drain its shield as fast as possible. So I was using electric grenades and weapons that dished out electricity damage as well, just so I could drain the shield as fast as possible. You can also pull out critical spots with your grapple too. This isn't just for Rafa, this is for every ball hunter. You know, grappling is a new part of this game, and it's used for many different ways. But yeah, you can pull out some of his critical spots with your grapple. Just shoot the things that you pull out with the grapple, deal out some critical damage to it to help dish out even more damage. And there will be phases where he's like shooting out a bunch of spores or whatever these are that explode, and mainly just try to shoot those and dodge them as best as you can, because they can dish out some good damage to you. Keep in mind, this isn't my first time going against it either. This is like my 5th time going against it. I just wanted to show you when I actually learned how to take this out efficiently, instead of, you know, my first time going up against it, because I was pretty slow at taking it out. Also, for the most part, I kept a lot of the enemies around me alive just so they could help me revive myself just in case I went down. It was just a tactic I was using, not something you have to do. My grenades were accidentally taking out the enemies a lot too, which I really wasn't wanting, but I ended up finding this electric grenade that helped with draining this boss's shield quickly. There will also be a cocoon phase. This is a phase where it like goes up on the ceiling and everything on the ground is dealing damage. It's now like poison on the ground. So now you have to use your grapple to go up toward the ceiling to deal damage to the cocoon, which you're able to deal damage at the top of the cocoon of this boss, as you can see. That's where the critical damages are. And if you dish out enough damage to the cocoon before it actually goes back down on the ground and starts fighting us, the boss will pummel to the ground and you'll be able to dish out damage while it's just laying there on the ground. Keep in mind though, the cocoon phase doesn't last forever, so you don't have this opportunity every time. If you don't deal out enough damage to the top of the cocoon, the boss will just go back to the ground and start fighting us again. It won't be laying down hurt. That's basically how the fight goes. Sometimes he also will just go up on the ceiling and attack you too from there without going into his cocoon phase. It's just part of the fight. So while he's up there, just keep dealing damage. And I did get downed a lot, I'm going to be real, but I was able to revive myself pretty easily since there's plenty of enemies around me that I could take out. I wasn't focusing on them as much, I was just keeping them alive because they just do minor damage to me, to be real, and I just kept my focus on the boss.
I knew he'd be the bastard with satisfaction.
And as you can see, this time around when taking it out, I did manage to get a legendary. They definitely stand out. Like I mentioned before, they are more rare compared to the previous Borderlands. This was actually my 5th time farming this boss though to get one legendary. I got this shield, but keep in mind that's not always the case. Sometimes you could get lucky and get a legendary every time you farm this boss. There was someone at the hands-on event that did manage to get, I think, 5 legendaries or something like that, 4 legendaries yeah, that guy was really lucky. I managed to get one, and it's a shield, as you see, called Fleeting Extra Medium, and it has an effect on it called Nucleus Synthesis. And what the effect does, it explodes on shield fill and shield empty, dealing 1,222 damage surrounding you. Also, it has an effect called Fleeting. When energy shields are down, gain 28% move speed. Pretty neat shield. And in case you haven't realized, as you see right next to where it states energy, there's 4 triangles. 2 triangles upside down and 2 triangles facing up. This is how the rarity is designed. As you can see also in my inventory screen, I have some blues. There's only 2 triangles filled out of the 4. Green's only 1 triangle filled, and purples have 3 triangles filled, and there's 1 missing. So yeah, if you get a legendary, all the triangles will be filled up. Pretty cool. So that's the legendary Malawan shield that I got, which once again, farming this boss for the 5th time. I'm going to go ahead and show you what is said though when you first defeat this boss for the first time and what happens.
You will serve. We have need of vault hunters, and you have need of the vaults and their power.
So that's what's said after you first defeat it. And as you can see, I didn't get no legendaries my first time completing this. But like I mentioned, there was a guy that got lucky and got one. Pretty much every time they farmed this guy. That guy got lucky. That's not the end of this though. There's more loot that you can obtain if you head over here and enter this rift. This will take you to another area of the vault where you can obtain more loot. This is basically like the treasure area.
I feel stronger.
Until next time, Vault Hunter.
So what I just picked up there was a glide pack upgrade, and it made it so I could have faster regeneration for my glide. But keep in mind, this was only here once after farming it for the first time. However, the chests that you could find here were here every time after defeating the boss with new loot to obtain. So you can keep farming the chest in this treasure area over and over. However, you don't for the upgrade though. You only get that once after your first time defeating the Vault Raid boss. And to leave this area is pretty obvious. You just have to enter the rift to exit. So yeah, that's a whole walkthrough guide over the Primordial Vault Fade Fields. Now I'm sure you're curious on how exactly do you farm the boss over and over. Well, it's pretty straightforward as well. Once you exit out of the vault treasure area for the first time, this will be activated now, called Moxie's Big Encore. And as you could see, you could purchase the Primordial Guardian and Septus to fight it again for just $50. So pretty cheap to keep farming this over and over. There's also an ammo refill station and a medical station right here too before you go and fight it. Definitely be sure to stock back up on ammo and whatnot before you go and fight it. And keep in mind, you can just go across the rift. I've done that too by accident. And if you don't activate the Moxie's Big Encore farm station, or whatever you want to call it, the boss won't be over here. So you'll have to enter the treasure room again, then exit the treasure room. And yeah, so be sure to definitely purchase the boss fight before going across the lift to the boss, or it won't be there. Trust me, I had some occasions where I just went over there because I was like rushing to go farm it again. And I just skipped purchasing the boss fight. But yeah, that's how you farm it over and over and over to try to get some great loot. There are specific loot drops too from the boss that you can only get from this boss, as Randy Pitchford had announced previously. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I guess that's wrapping up this video. Hope you all found this enjoyable as well as informative. Once again, I would love to know your guys' thoughts about this, especially before it releases. Maybe the developers can tweak things if you're wanting things tweaked or you think things need tweaked. Feel free to jot it down below in the comments. Or if you think it looks great, jot that down too. We definitely appreciate the love as well. They have put a lot of work into this Borderlands. You'll see. It's massive compared to the others. Overall, I thought this was pretty solid and fun to go through. And this is just one of the vault raids that we can experience. There's going to be others too, not just this one. And I'm sure there will be future ones as well in downloadable content. I'm out of here though, everyone. As always, most importantly, appreciate y'all taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.